it is Cecil. Long time no see. I am back, kind of ish. Hopefully, at least with a speed build every single week. I do build on my Twitch channel on every Tuesday, so if you would like to check that out, regardless of if it gets put into a speed build on YouTube, I am in fact doing that at least. Um, we're working our way through the block party challenge right now. We are probably nearing halfway through, which is very exciting for me. I've been wanting to do this challenge for about, oh boy, probably 2 years at this point. But we are finally making some real good progress, which is yay. This video was kind of a pain in the ass to render. I don't know why it didn't want to render the way I was hoping that it would, but um what matters is that it worked. We have a file. It is sped up. It is clipped the way it is supposed to be clipped. I really hope that it goes through the way that it's supposed to, but just fingers crossed. All of the fingers crossed. Anyways, what we were building was a fancy restaurant. I wanted to build two restaurants for this particular build challenge. So one of them is going to be more like family restaurant. This one is fancy restaurant. I wanted it to look like people of my particular pay grade would be banned just for breathing in the same general vicinity. This is in the same general area as the park lot that I have done and the mansion lot that I'm in the middle of building. There will be two more residential lots that are like mid-grade. So it's a restaurant that is very far away from the starter home. I basically needed it to be fancier than an Olive Garden. You get me? um I was struggling a little bit with the floor plan, but I think that it came together pretty well and it should work. Like, the lot should function. I have played in it. I played in it on stream just a couple nights ago because I sent one of my Sims here for a date. Uh, and everything functioned for the most. I mean, it functioned about as well as Dine Out ever functions. One of the things that did happen that I will say here, just in case it was something wrong with the build and not something wrong with Dine Out, there was a weird moment where I could not get the chef to go to the kitchen, and I don't know if it's because I put the kitchen on the second story. Um, all that I know is that they refused. They simply would not go upstairs. Like, they wouldn't even enter the building, though. They were acting like something was in their way. However, they kept magically producing plates, and the waiters could get into the kitchen just fine, and the host got to their station just fine. So I have no idea why the chef wasn't working. It might have been an issue with the build. It might have just been a dine out issue. Um, I will probably playtest this a few more times just to see. I end up changing the layout of the kitchen quite a few times, which just, is what it is. But I think that everything mostly turned out looking pretty nice. There was the setup for the upstairs was kind of based on this room from like this lounge slash restaurant sort of place that exists in this one episode of Sex and the City. I could not describe it to you better than that, other than that was the vibe I was going for, although I see we're back downstairs, so that's not the most important thing. The other thing that was really difficult was placing the windows in a way that made sense both from the inside and the outside, same thing with the doors. Um, but I think all in all we did okay. Uh, I'm definitely I'm pleased with how it turned out. I've been really happy with how a lot of my builds on stream have been going. I think it really helps having people to like bounce ideas off of. My stream chat is very, very helpful. If you would like to ever join us, you are so more than welcome to. The more the merrier. as long as you give suggestions and not demands. Although I admit, when I'm playing The Sims, I do not get demanding people. I only get demands when I'm playing Genshin Impact on stream, which, by the way, never appreciated. I have had a few people randomly come into my chat with things like, you should change the sword you have on this character, and you should do this, and you should do that. And I'm like, thank you. Interesting take. I understand where you're coming from. Please don't do that. But no, the Sims community is a little bit more chill as far as that goes. But that's okay. For right now, we are all good. I think what I keep losing track of what I'm supposed to say because this is basically 14 minutes, 13 minutes maybe of me just talking. Because the very end part of the sped up footage did not render the way that I was hoping that it would. Um, I will, or it will be kind of missing the finishing touches, but that's fine. It's only about a minute worth of footage that we are missing, which is maybe the last 7 minutes of the actual build itself. Trying to think of how long, how much I sped up the footage by. I think this is sped up by 700%, which not too bad. As you can see, I'm struggling with getting a nice flat ceiling the way that I want for it to look, but when don't we struggle with some sort of roofing issue, right? That's a pretty universal experience. I was so uncertain about how I wanted this sign to look because there's so many options, and it's like it almost feels like, I don't know. It feels like there's enough options to make things super stylistic and fun, but other times it feels like this looks dumb no matter what I do. But I think that's just the way that art goes. um but yeah, like I was saying, I really do feel like the sort of collaborative process of building on stream has been something that I've really benefited from. It's nice to get some like immediate feedback from people who will say what they're thinking, but they'll be nice about it, you know? um and I do greatly appreciate everybody who's there pretty regularly. So if you would like to hang out with us during that, definitely do that. But otherwise, um, the biggest thing that I wanted to do, like I was saying earlier, was make it look very classy. And I don't really know if I succeeded in that. I've never been to a restaurant fancier than an Olive Garden. But it feels like it's the right vibe, you know? Also, like I was saying earlier, there is this one episode of Sex in the City where they have this upstairs area where there's like these big wall mirrors outside of the bathrooms, and there's like this little circular seating area in the middle. And so I tried to kind of emulate that when I was making the some sort of seating area upstairs. Not like a dining seating area, but like just somewhere to kind of sit away from your table or, whatever. Uh, and I think that I emulated that. I think that is the vibe that we achieved. I am losing my train of thought so quickly. In order to record just anything, I have all of the fans in this room turned off, and it's been in the 90s, so that is super duper not ideal. And that's okay. We've only got a little bit more time, so it's good. It's good. And then after we go through all of this, I will go into the game to do like a proper tour of the build, because things do get moved around a lot. As far as the floor plan goes, and it's a little bit difficult to keep track of where everything ends up going when it's sped up by 700%. So we will, in fact, be doing that. I wanted to, make like a little bar area because that always feels like something snazzy to include. I wanted to have some bigger tables along with having more like dinner date style tables. So we tried to have some options because just because they're rich people doesn't mean that they're always coming with the exact same party size, right? So, like, this makes sense. um, But yeah, there's a lot of fiddling and scooching things around to make it make sense. I find that putting down a bunch of tables is something that's always really difficult for me because I don't want it to look like super duper uniform, but I don't want it to look like messily random either. So it's kind of hard to like balance that with exactly what I want for it to be. I think that I did an okay job. I've built a few restaurants for my own personal gameplay before this, so I at least have some experience with doing that. I'm not completely new to it, but I think it turned out okay. I don't know. It's decent enough. It's one of those. I think I ended up naming the lot Fancy Pants or something like that, which honestly, you know, that's good enough. Naming a lot has got to be the hardest part when you're planning to like put something on the gallery. I do wish that I had like gotten a few others of my recent builds to put on not put on the gallery. I have a bunch of things on the gallery, but I haven't like taken that footage and made a speed build out of it. Reason being my computer does not have enough space to always do that, so I'm kind of trying to budget my space in such a way that will allow me to download the footage and then speed it all up and then delete the original stream footage and just have the sped up footage, which is what I did for this. And that seems to be working decently fine as long as, it doesn't claim that it's unable to render. Oh, we're finally getting to the part where I did the fun little seating area over here. This was it. This is the little seating area that I wanted to do with some sort of like a vibe. Like the energy, the I feel like I ended up putting as many plants as I could to like fill up some empty space down here or up here, I should say. This is the upstairs. Which is always a good idea, keeping some plant options alive. I used that tree, which I don't think I've ever used, but to be fair, I usually default to like the same snake plant or ivy plant or whatever. Um, so branching out is always a good thing. Also used some standard bathroom clutter because, using like I know that it's not a functional item, but putting a little paper towel dispenser in a public bathroom is always so much fun to me, and same with putting like little soap dispensers or even a trash can that your sins aren't necessarily going to use. It feels like a cute little finishing touch, and I like that. Um, then I struggled with the curtains, and I do believe that the footage is going to be cutting off real soon after the curtains. So, as I was saying, once this is done, we will hop into the game, and I will give you a proper tour as well as the fountain feature, which absolutely did not make it into this footage. So, here we have Newcrest with a bunch of the lots that I've been building or have planned to build. As you can see, we've only got a few things left, but here is where I place the restaurant. Yes, I titled it Fancy Pants Uptown. Here we have the front of the lot. We got some trees for sign of life and all of that stuff. We've got a couple things for signage. I used that one half wall trim that has like the glass on it from, I think, is it Get to Work? I think it's from Get to Work. Um, anyways, I put a fountain in here. These are staggering heights, with the middle one being the tallest. I think the outside ones are medium height, and the inside ones are short height. So there's a fun little fountain feature on the inside. We've got lights going up to the front steps. Got marble steps, so the walkway is also marble. Like I said, it is supposed to very much be something snazzy. You walk in here, you have the little host area. I'm trying to get all the way in, but okay. Well, you walk in here, you've got the little host area. There's a little archway that you go through. This is the first floor dining area. Here's the little bar. All of the windows have curtains so that it doesn't get overly bright. And of course, then you go out onto the bottom floor balcony. We've got some balcony warmers out here, a few more tables. It's a nice little date spot. or a nice little hangout area. I feel like hangout is probably too simple a word for the style restaurant, but you get what I mean. And then in the upstairs, we've got the waiter stations, which seem to function perfectly fine. Like I said, I did playtest this a little bit. We've got this little loungy seat area uh, made with the customizable couches from the Dream Home Decorator pack. We've got the kitchen over here, which again, I feel like this functions, but who's to say? Because my chef wouldn't come upstairs, but my waiters and waitresses had absolutely no problem with it. We've got two bathrooms, each with three stalls, three sinks, mirrors. There is a little paper towel dispenser, there's soap dispensers, there's a little trash can, just the little details. And then upstairs balcony is very similar to the downstairs balcony. We've got a couple of outdoor warmers. We've got some more tables, some for dates, some for slightly larger parties. And yeah, in the back here, we've got a few more trees. I kept it very, very simple and to the point in the landscaping regards, mostly because I was tired. But for the most part, yeah, this is the lot. If you want to, if you would like to download it on the gallery, uh, you can find it on my gallery page. I believe I am Awkward Fangirl 6 on the gallery. Yes, I am. So if you would like to download it, it will be there. I will hopefully be posting a speed build every single week because of how often I, uh, yeah, it's right here. Because of how often I do this sort of thing on my Twitch channel, and I've decided, you know what? I'm going to speed up the footage. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to try and post it. By the way, this looks like it's a lot of the same build. It really isn't, though, I promise. Um, I made a community space, so these are all of the sublots. Take a look at the other stuff that I've got going on my page as well. I do some builds. I've also got some sim families, although those all have some custom content in it. My builds are CC free. My sims are not. So just if you're wondering. But anyways, that I think is all, and I will see you next week for another speed build. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.